What if I told you that the exercise advice you've been following for years might actually be holding you back from achieving your best health after 60? Here's something that shocked even me as a medical professional reviewing the latest research. A groundbreaking 2024 study from the University of Copenhagen followed 8,000 adults over the age of 60 for 5 years and discovered something incredible. Those who replaced traditional walking routines with 5 specific targeted exercises reduced their risk of falls by 73% and increased their strength by an astounding 89%. That's not a typo. We're talking about nearly doubling your physical capability while dramatically reducing injury risk. The researchers were so surprised by these results, they repeated the study twice just to confirm. And guess what? The results held true every time. What's even more fascinating, participants spent 40% less time exercising than the walking group, yet achieved superior results across every single health marker measured. Blood pressure improvements, 31% better. Joint pain, decreased by 67% compared to just 12% in walkers. Bone density, not only maintained, but actually increased. But here's what really caught my attention, and why you need to hear this. The number one exercise on this list is so simple that 94% of participants could do it immediately without any equipment and without any training. Yet this single movement increased lifespan markers by 42%. According to Harvard Medical School's latest longevity research, scientists discovered it activates something called mechanotransduction pathways that literally reprogram your cells to act younger. And I'm saving the best for last, because once you understand the science behind it, you'll never look at exercise the same way again. This could mean the difference between walking strong at 80 or needing a cane by 70. Now, before we begin, take a moment and tell us in the comments your age and where you're watching from. And look at the clock right now. What time is it as you're watching this video? We're reading and replying to every single comment, so drop yours below. All right, without any further delay, let's get started so you can see exactly how to future-proof your body and keep moving like you're 40 again. Number 5, wall push-ups with a hold. Starting with number 5 on our countdown, wall push-ups with a hold might seem too simple to be effective, but the science tells a completely different story. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity in 2023 found that adults over 60 who performed wall push-ups with holds for just 8 weeks increased their upper body strength by 34% more than those doing traditional exercises. Here's why this matters more than you might think. After age 60, we lose about 3% of our muscle mass every year, unless we actively fight against it. And this isn't just about looking good in a tank top. Loss of upper body strength directly affects your ability to do daily tasks, like carrying groceries, opening jars, or catching yourself if you start to fall. The wall push-up with hold specifically targets what exercise physiologists call functional strength patterns. These are the deep movement patterns you use dozens of times throughout your day without even realizing it. Here's how to perform this exercise correctly. Stand about an arm's length away from a wall. Place your palms flat against the wall at shoulder height, shoulder width apart. Your feet can be together or just slightly apart. Now lean forward slowly until your nose nearly touches the wall. This is where the magic happens. Hold this position for 3 to 5 seconds. You should feel the engagement through your chest, shoulders, arms, and surprisingly, even your core muscles too. Then push back slowly to the starting position. The key here is tempo. Take 2 seconds to lean in, hold for 3 to 5 seconds, then take 2 seconds to push back. This slow, controlled movement activates something called time under tension, which research shows is far more effective for building strength after 60 than doing fast repetitions. Start with just 5 repetitions and gradually work your way up to 15. The beauty of this exercise is how adjustable it is. If it feels too easy, step your feet further back from the wall. If it feels too difficult, move closer. A study from the University of British Columbia found that participants who performed wall push-ups with holds 3 times per week for 12 weeks not only increased their pushing strength by 41%, but also improved their reaction time by 23%. And this improvement in reaction time is crucial because it's directly linked to fall prevention. The researchers noted that the hold portion of the exercise enhanced proprioception. That's your body's ability to sense its position in space. This ability is one of the very first things to decline with age, and it's a primary reason why falls become more common and more dangerous after 60. Now, let's move on to an exercise that targets a completely different but equally crucial aspect of aging well. Number 4, seated leg lifts with resistance. Number 4 brings us to seated leg lifts with resistance. And if you think sitting down means this exercise is easy, you're in for a surprise. A 2024 study published in the Archives of Physical Medicine found that seated leg lifts with added resistance improved walking speed by 28% and stair climbing ability by 45% in adults over 60. These aren't just random numbers. Walking speed is considered one of the most reliable predictors of overall health and longevity in older adults. Doctors actually call it the sixth vital sign because it's that important. The seated leg lift with resistance works by targeting your hip flexors and quadriceps simultaneously, while also engaging your core for stability. These muscle groups work together every single time you take a step, climb stairs, or get up from a chair. Yet traditional walking doesn't strengthen them enough to combat age-related decline. Here's how to do it properly. Sit in a sturdy chair with your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. If you're just starting out, you won't need any equipment. As you progress, you can add ankle weights or resistance bands. Slowly lift your right leg straight out in front of you, keeping your knee as straight as comfortable. The goal is to lift until your leg is parallel to the floor. But don't worry if you can't get there at first. Hold this position for 2 seconds, then slowly lower back down without letting your foot touch the floor. That's 1 rep. The critical point most people miss is keeping your back pressed firmly against the chair throughout the movement. This ensures you're using the right muscles without straining your back or relying on momentum. Perform 10 to 15 repetitions on one leg, then switch to the other. What makes this exercise so effective is something called unilateral training. By working one leg at a time, you force each side of your body to work independently. This addresses muscle imbalances that naturally develop as we age. To maximize the benefits, gradually add resistance every 2 weeks. You can use ankle weights starting with just 1 or 2 pounds, or loop a resistance band around your ankles. The progression is what stimulates continuous adaptation. Studies show that muscles and bones respond to progressive overload at any age, debunking the myth that you can't build strength after 60. In fact, percentage-wise, older adults often show more dramatic improvements than younger people, simply because they're starting from a lower baseline. Now let's transition to our number 3 exercise, one that addresses a critical system most exercise routines completely ignore. Before we continue, if you've been enjoying this video so far, hit that like button so more seniors can discover it, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got more powerful senior health tips coming every day, and you don't want to miss the next one. Number 3, standing heel raises with a balance challenge. Now this one might look simple, but don't let that fool you. Standing heel raises are one of the most powerful ways to protect your independence as you age. Why? Because they target your calf muscles and ankle stability, 2 areas most people completely overlook. A 2023 study from the National Institute on Aging revealed something eye-opening. Calf strength was the single best predictor of whether someone over 60 would stay independent in the next decade. Seniors with strong calves were 71% less likely to need assisted living and had 64% fewer falls that led to injuries. Here's why this happens. Your calf muscles act like a peripheral heart, pumping blood back up from your legs. Weak calves mean poor circulation, swelling, and even higher risks of blood clots. But when you strengthen them, you improve circulation, balance, and overall vitality. So, how do you perform this exercise? Stand behind a sturdy chair. Place your fingertips lightly on the back for balance if needed. Rise up onto your toes as high as you can, pressing through the balls of your feet. At the very top, pause for 3 seconds while looking straight ahead, not down. This trains your inner ear balance system, which naturally weakens with age. Then, slowly lower yourself back down, taking a full 3 seconds to descend. This lowering phase is actually where most of the strength is built. Start with 10 repetitions and gradually work up to 25. When you're ready for a challenge, try doing them on one foot at a time. This not only doubles the resistance, but also pushes your balance to the next level. In fact, a Japanese longevity study found that seniors who could do 20 single-leg heel raises had the circulation and artery health of people 15 years younger. And here's something fascinating. Every time you lift and lower, your calves squeeze blood vessels like a pump, forcing blood back towards your heart. This improves blood flow throughout your whole body, delivering more oxygen and nutrients to your brain and organs. In one study, participants improved their memory and focus by 26% after just 12 weeks of heel raise training. But the real magic for older adults is this. Strong calves and good balance are your body's first line of defense against falls. If you trip, your toes and calves are what save you. Weak calves mean you can't push off strongly enough to catch yourself. This simple exercise literally trains your brain and muscles to react faster and steadier. MRI scans even show that balance training increases gray matter in the parts of the brain that control movement and spatial awareness. For best results, vary the tempo. 2 days a week, do them slow with that 3-second hold at the top. 1 day a week, perform them quicker. 1 second up, 1 second down, but still with control. This mix keeps your muscles challenged and prevents plateaus. Now we're heading into the top 2 exercises, and number 2 is going to surprise you with just how efficient it is. Number 2, modified squats to a chair. This exercise earns our runner-up spot, and before you start worrying about your knees, let me reassure you with some powerful new research. A 2024 analysis of 42 studies, including over 15,000 people, showed that modified chair squats were not only safe for adults with knee issues, but actually reduced knee pain by 58% when done correctly. And that word, correctly, is the key. Let me explain why this exercise is so effective. Chair squats work more muscles at the same time than almost any other movement. Your glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, core, and even your back muscles. That's a full body workout in one simple move. Here's why it matters so much after age 60. The sit-to-stand movement that is something you do every day by dozens of times. And sadly, it's often one of the first abilities people lose as they age. Once you can't get out of a chair without help, your independence quickly starts to shrink. Studies show that older adults who can't perform a simple sit-to-stand test without using their arms have a mortality rate 3 times higher in the next 5 years. That's how essential this movement is for long-term health. So, here's how to do it safely and effectively. Start with a sturdy chair that allows your knees to bend at about 90 degrees when seated. Stand in front of the chair with your feet about hip-width apart and your toes pointing slightly outward. This foot position is important. It matches your natural hip alignment and protects your knees. Cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward for balance. Now slowly lower yourself toward the chair. Push your hips back first, almost like you're trying to close a car door with your backside. This hip hinge movement takes pressure off your knees and shifts the work to your glutes, the strongest muscles in your body. Lower down over 3 seconds until your butt just lightly touches the chair, but don't sit down completely. Then immediately press through your heels, squeeze your glutes, and stand back up over 2 seconds. That's 1 repetition. Begin with 5 to 8 reps and gradually build up to 15 or even 20. The Stanford Longevity Center ran a study where adults over 60 performed chair squats just 3 times a week for 6 weeks. The results were incredible. Lower body power increased by 47%. That's not just strength, it's speed combined with strength, which is even more important for fall prevention. Participants also walked faster, enough to make the difference between living independently and needing daily assistance. Even more impressive, brain scans showed increased activity in the motor cortex, the part of the brain that controls movement. In other words, these squats were literally rewiring their brains for better mobility. Here's how to progress safely. For the first 2 weeks, use a standard height chair. Once you can do 15 reps with good form, switch to a slightly lower surface like a coffee table or ottoman. This adds more challenge by increasing the range of motion. Over time, you may not need the chair at all. Just squat down to where a chair would be, And for those who build confidence and strength, holding a pair of light weights can take the benefits even further. And now we've reached the moment you've been waiting for, the number one exercise that is changing the way we think about fitness after 60. Number 1, bird dog hold progressions. This exercise takes the top spot, and once you understand the science behind it, you'll see why doctors and researchers are so excited. The bird dog isn't just another core exercise. In fact, Harvard research found it improved markers linked to lifespan by an incredible 42%. At first glance, the bird dog might look a little unusual, but here's the truth. It's the only single exercise that tackles all the biggest concerns of aging: core stability, balance, cognitive function, back health, and even bone density. A 2024 study in the Journal of Gerontology went so far as to call it the single most effective exercise for healthy aging. So what makes it so extraordinary? The bird dog requires you to balance on opposite arm and leg while keeping a neutral spine. This diagonal pattern actually mirrors how your body naturally moves when you walk, climb stairs, or bend to pick something up. Even better, holding this position activates something called cross-lateral neural firing, which means your brain's left and right hemispheres have to coordinate with each other. Research from the Cleveland Clinic shows that this type of bilateral brain activity can boost memory, improve focus, and even lower dementia risk by 31%. Here's how to perform it. Get on your hands and knees on a comfortable surface like a yoga mat. Place your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips, and keep your back flat, not arched or rounded. Slowly extend your right arm straight forward and your left leg straight back. Imagine making one long, straight line from fingertips to toes. Hold this position for 5 seconds while keeping your hips steady and your body from rotating. Then return slowly and switch sides. Now, here's where it becomes powerful. The progression system. Weeks 1 to 2. Hold for 5 seconds per side. Repeat 5 times. Weeks 3 to 4. Increase your hold to 10 seconds. Weeks 5 to 6. Add a gentle pulse, raising your arm and leg an extra inch up and down while holding the position. Weeks 7 to 8. Try closing your eyes during the hold, which removes visual balance cues and makes your brain's balance system work much harder. The results are nothing short of amazing. A Mayo Clinic study followed 500 adults over 60 for 2 years. Those who practiced bird dogs 4 times a week saw core strength nearly double, back pain reduced by 76%, and fall risk dropped by 82%. Even more impressive, their bone density increased by 3.2%, a reversal of normal aging. And there's more. A German brain imaging study showed that the bird dog activates more brain regions at the same time than any other exercise tested. Areas responsible for balance, coordination, and even executive decision-making. After just 8 weeks, participants had measurable increases in brain volume in those regions. That means more protection against cognitive decline. Here's a pro tip to maximize the benefits. Instead of just holding the position, think about reaching. Push your extended hand forward and your extended foot backward as if you're trying to make yourself longer. This creates full body tension and dramatically increases the effectiveness. Research shows strength gains up to 40% higher with this technique. And don't forget your breathing. Take slow, deep breaths through your nose while holding the bird dog. This not only activates your deep core stabilizers, but also improves oxygen delivery, which keeps your blood pressure steady and your muscles working efficiently. At the end of the day, the bird dog isn't just an exercise. It's a total body, mind-body training system. It improves strength, balance, bone density, and even brain health in just a few minutes a day. And that's why it earns the #1 spot on our list. Remember, these 5 exercises we've shared are far more effective than simply walking. Walking is good, but it doesn't challenge your body in the specific ways needed to fight age-related decline. These moves take just 20 to 25 minutes, 3 or 4 times per week, and the benefits are profound. So here's my question for you. What's one daily activity that's become harder for you after 60 that you'd love to improve? And be honest, how many minutes a week are you currently exercising? Share your answers in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, thanks so much for watching.